Welcome to the Miracle You, guiding you on the journey towards finding passion and purpose and how to discover, create, and live a life by your design. Whether your success has been plentiful or your missed opportunities have been overwhelming, we can help you become a more empowered, masterful person and show you how to share your gift with the world. It's time to inspire change from within with the host of the Miracle You, Vince Kramer.
Hello, imagination. I'm Vince Kramer, your host, and welcome to the Miracle You, where you learn about the magic of living your life by finding the example in real life. I've shared with you many times in the past, either on the podcast or for those of you that have been involved in Imagine Miracles in our programs, that it's important for each and every one of us to understand why we're here. And we talk about divine intent a lot, about the difference that you're meant to make in the world or the problem that you're here to solve. But each and every one of us is here to raise our vibration to the highest vibration that there is. And that vibration is love. To understand those parts of us that we might not love, we have judgment on. To see that in other people in the world and to realize that our experiences of the judgment that we see around us, our experience of the judgment that we have isn't necessarily on the outside world. It's a judgment of ourselves. And as we start finding those judgments and learn to love unconditionally, learn to love from a place of understanding that love is meant to be kind, to love from that place that each and every one of us needs to learn to love with patience. And it's not just loving others with patience, but it's learning to love ourselves with patience. We're all so important to this universe. Each and every one of us are here for a reason. And for us to share our reason fully, we must learn to love ourselves fully, so we can love others without judgment. I'm with Kim Sorrelle today. Kim is the director of a humanitarian organization, a popular speaker, and the author of 2 books. Her first book, Cry Until You Laugh, is about her breast cancer experience and her husband's battle with pancreatic cancer after being diagnosed only 4 months apart. Her second book, Love Is, chronicles her year-long quest to figure out the true meaning of love, a sometimes funny, sometimes scary, always enlightening journey that led to life-changing discoveries found mainly on the streets of Haiti. Kim, are you ready to share the miracle of you with the imagination?
Vince, I am so ready to share the miracle of you.
I love your story. As I did some research, what you're all about, how you're showing up in the world is so important to what we need right now. And the bio was so short. Could you share a little bit more about you and what you're doing right now?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I am an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur, I think. I started my first business right out of high school, and just recently in February sold one of my last businesses, one that was a time-sucking machine. And so I'm in this whole new place in life as a mom and grandma, and on a whole new journey. So I'm excited to see what life has.
Well, in a journey, I think that's extremely important. I know that there are some things happen in your life that really got your attention. I just mentioned breast cancer and the loss of your husband after his battle with pancreatic cancer. Was that what woke you up to, I want to look at life a different way, I want to show up a different way, or was there something else that happened?
I think I've had a few of those moments in life. When you lose somebody, certainly that's sort of a wake-up call, right? To say, wow, life doesn't go on forever, so I better make the most of what time I have here and make the most of every day. So there's been a few of those moments in life, but yes, I would have to say, going through what I went through, being diagnosed first with breast cancer, which The C word is never a word that anybody ever wants to hear unless it's Colorado. That's not a bad C word, but cancer, we want to try to avoid. And it's funny, Vince, because people would say to me, well, gosh, Kim, why you? Why you? Because I do run a nonprofit organization. I try to give back as much as I possibly can while running businesses and employing people and doing the things that I do. And I would say, well, why not me? You know, what makes me immune? Why would it be any different from me? I don't think that the universe says, oh, you're good, so you don't have to have cancer, and you're bad, so therefore you're going to get every disease there is out there. It doesn't work like that. Like, there's no discrimination when it comes to cancer. And then the double whammy of my husband, we were married for almost 29 years. And when he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and I was just 47 years old, and it was just 4 months after my diagnosis. So I was going through my stuff when all of a sudden here he is, and he passed away just 6 weeks later. And I just thought, gosh, there must be something that I'm supposed to be doing, something I'm not understanding, something I need to bring good out of, right? Like, there's things that we have no control over in life, like cancer. You know, I never would have picked it. I never would have picked it from my husband. I never would have chosen at 47 years old to be without him, without my soulmate, the love of my life, the man that I was supposed to be sitting on rockers on the porch drinking lemonade when we're 97 years old, right? I wouldn't choose those things, but I do get to choose today. I get to choose to be happy. I get to choose to live. I get to choose to serve. I get to choose to have an impact on the world. And so those are the choices I'm clinging to and hanging on to, and figuring out what that means, you know, how to make the best out of every day.
And we get these circumstances to help us move further down our path. And it's like you said, it's not looking at it as I'm a victim of this, or I was good or I was bad. It's okay, where do I go from here? And where do I choose, and how do I choose to show up? And I think that's so powerful in the way that you shared it, because so many people might climb into their shell or hide their head in the sand after having an experience like that. But it really can be a gift, although it seems like, how could anything like that ever be a gift? But if it opens us up to share more, if our heart is open more, if we're more of who we are, then we can take more meaning out of this life for sure, and then make such a difference. And you seem to be, as you moved into what you share about love, I think that's a message that this world really needs to hear, and we hear about it. I like the fact that you mentioned, 1 Corinthians 13. We hear it all the time, and we've kind of become numb to it in a lot of ways. But truly, love is the answer in our world. So, as you, first of all, could you share the healing power of sharing your first book, Cry Until You Laugh?
Oh, yes. Well, I started writing because I went to, after getting a phone call at 3:00 on a Friday afternoon. So there's no way to call a doctor at that point in time, right? So I didn't have the big lifetime moment of going into the doctor's office with my husband and the doctor saying, oh, you have cancer, whatever. Instead, I got this phone call, blah, 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 you have cancer, call you on Tuesday, whatever. It was like getting hit by a truck. And so I went to a bookstore, and everything was either depressing or medical. And I just wanted to know, what is it going to be like? Are there choices I have to make? What is step one? I had no idea. And so I started writing as a way to inform family and friends of, hey, I'm going to the doctor tomorrow, whatever. But before I knew it, 5,000 people were reading what I was writing. And it was so healing, definitely healing to put it on paper, and definitely also felt really great to put it out there for women who are going through the same thing. And so it certainly starts with my breast cancer, but I was still writing when my husband was diagnosed, and then through losing him. And so I wrote for a little over a year, and it was definitely a healing process for me. It's, I think really for anyone, if you get it out, sometimes you just need to express it. You need to get it out there. And that's when you can heal from what you're going through.
And like you said, sharing helps you heal, but just like this podcast, it's so people know they're not alone, that others have experienced what they're experiencing. And, sometimes it just gives us enough hope that, okay, this person made it through, I can make it through. And this person found something even more fulfilling to them. So maybe I can find something more fulfilling to me. And when we start understanding that we're not alone, it opens the door. So, but then for you, losing your husband and being in that place where I'm sure, I know you've got lots of kids and lots of grandkids now, but I'm sure there was still that loneliness feeling. First of all, how was that helped through the book? But then also, how were you able to use that as a gift in moving forward and sharing even more?
It's an interesting thing because I didn't have time for the loneliness. I still had to go through what I had to go through. I had surgeries and things that I had to get through. And when I was finally ready, able to go back to work, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And Vince, I love what you're saying because it's so true. We all go through stuff in life and then you pick what you do with it. Do you help other people with it? Do you use it for good? Because you might as well, because we're all going to go through something. And if you can help others, if you can help in any way, because I can relate to women who have breast cancer. I can relate to women who have lost their husband. I can relate to people who have, my mom committed suicide. I can relate to people who are dealing with that in their life. Unlike people who can just empathize, sympathize with people, I've been there. And so I want to be able to help people going through things because people help me. It's a circle. But losing my husband made me question love, the true meaning of love. And as it turned out, when I was able to go back to work, there was a nonprofit organization that my father and I started years before. And I decided, well, I'll help out there. And I became the part-time bookkeeper of the nonprofit. And 12 days later, there was an earthquake in Haiti that killed 200,000 people. So 2 weeks after that, I was in Haiti. So there was no loneliness because I was in Haiti, and then I was in Haiti every month for several years. But what there were these moments of questioning and these moments of obviously just missing my husband like crazy, and questioning love, the real meaning of love. And so I decided I would dedicate a full year to figuring it out. And I used the 2,000-year-old poem from 1 Corinthians, love is patient, love is kind, does not envy, does not boast, etc., that we hear at a lot of weddings and our eyes kind of glaze over, like you said, because we hear it so often. But I decided I would focus on one word a month and figure out, what is love that is patient? What is love that is kind? But there's 14 words and phrases. So it took me a little longer than a year. But what I discovered was anytime you put love is or love is not in front of a word, it completely changes the meaning of the word. And so what I found out about love was that we learn love from people around us, from the people who raise us and the people in our lives. And not everything we learn about love really is love. And if you know the true meaning of love, what love really is, it's so eye-opening and makes you want to live a whole different life. And it's freedom beyond compare. So it's the love journey is an incredible journey, and it's simple, but yet it's something I had to figure out. It's not obvious in so many ways.
My mind was going one way, and then you just shared this last little part here. And I think that it's so important for all of us to understand that we give meaning to just about everything in our life based on our experiences or based on what we were taught. Sometimes we just went along with what we were taught because these people know better than me, they're older than me, and now we start building our meanings. So, and especially love, as we go through our teen years, we go through our young adult years, where the hormones seem to bring up what the meaning of love is. Tell us about your shift, and tell us about what you learned the meaning of, or how you learned the meaning of love through your experiences.
Sure. Well, most of the time I was working on this, I was in Haiti, which is an interesting place to be all by itself. And so it certainly it gave me an interesting angle on things. And but like right out of the gate, love is patient. You know what patience is. I know what patience is. We're not honking our horn when we're stuck in traffic, right? That's patience. Well, I discovered that love that is patient is so different than that. And that even if you know this one truth about love, and there's 14, but even if you know this one truth, it's life-changing. So I believe you're supposed to love everybody. So love whoever it happens to be, the person at the grocery store, your next door neighbor, your second cousin twice removed, whoever it is, your partner. And to show love that is patient, you recognize that this moment right here, right now, is the most important moment of your life. What's in the past is in the past, and what's in the future is yet to come. This is the moment, and this moment is going to come and go with or without you. So to be with the person you're with, to be fully present and really listen, actually listen to the words being said without thinking, oh, I've got this meeting later tonight, or I got to stop and get milk on my way home, or shoot, that thing that happened yesterday, or even this is how I'm going to respond to what they're not currently saying while they're still saying it, is not showing love. That's not love that is patient. Love is fully engaged and really listens. And that is love that is patient. And that's a game changer that has taken me, by the way, a whole lot of practice. It did not come naturally to me at all, but it is a game changer.
None of those kind of things come easy to us because we've grown up in a society that has really taught us to even think way ahead of the game on what we're going to say next. So we're already deciding what the person's saying without even listening to what's happening. So now you're in Haiti, and definitely during a very difficult time. So love is kind. What did you learn in Haiti about that?
Wow, it seems so simple, but it took me, all of them took me at least a full month to figure out. But love is kind, kind is, again, one of those words that, of course, we know kind, we try to be kind, we say kind things, we do kind things. But love that is kind is different than just kind. Love that is kind is no expectation love. It is no expectation of getting anything in return for your kindness. And how often have I said, or I've heard people say, gosh, they didn't even say thank you. Or shoot, I brought them a casserole when they were sick, and where are they, now that I'm sick? But the minute you expect anything in return for your kindness, that's doing something to get something. That's not love. Love is kind, period. No expectation love. That is love that is kind.
We know the 14 parts around the Corinthians 13. What is your definition of love? If you just had 2 minutes to describe and explain love to someone, what would that definition be?
Well, the overall arc of love is that love is complete freedom, because love is all you have to do. All you have to do is love people. So with that, there is no judgment. There's no condemnation. There's no room for discrimination, racism. You're not judging people based on their income, their sexual orientation, the color of their skin, their birthplace, the house that they live in, nothing, because all you have to do is love. And you're also not trying to fix everybody, Because believe it or not, Vince, we have no control over anyone but ourselves, right? I mean, we like to, I was the queen of unsolicited advice. Oh shoot, I know how to fix that problem. I'll tell you what you need to do. Gosh, if you only did this one thing, your life would be so much happier. And then I realized through this love journey that love doesn't give unsolicited advice. It's one thing if somebody's asking for some, and even then, tread cautiously, but don't just throw your advice around. You don't know better because you're not walking in their shoes. And even if you think you do, you're not going to change them. You have no control over people. So there's a great freedom in knowing all you have to do is love people, love them where they are, and allow people to be who they're created to be. Allow people to be who they are, as it also allows you to be who you are. It is complete and total, unabashed freedom.
Why is it so hard for us to love that?
I think we've grown up in this world of judgment, right? I mean, we've been taught, gosh, don't go to that neighborhood because that is bad, or don't reach out to those people because they're just going to hurt you, or whatever it is, whatever we've been taught about different people groups, whatever it happens to be, or things that have happened to us in life. How were we judged when we were in grade school, junior high, high school, those formative years? How do we feel like we're being judged now? I think that all wraps up into why we don't love with this completely freeing love. But a very important part of it is no matter how you're judged, that's on them. That's not on you. You don't have to accept that judgment. Don't accept it. You know who you are. Just, you are free to be who you are. And love has to start with you. You got to love yourself before you can love everybody else. So anybody who wants to, throw anything at you, politically, religiously, whatever it happens to be, whatever, don't listen to it. You don't have to listen to it. You are you. You are special and unique and created to be the person that you are, and just be who you are and love that person. Love who you are. And then you can love, and better without judgment.
And one of the things I love about the energetic world and how energy works, and the fact of how amazing the world is in letting us see ourselves. If we can just take the time to look at, okay, this person judging me really wouldn't mean anything to me if I didn't have some judgment for myself around it. And I love what you share, that you can't love anyone until you love yourself. And we're also special. We're also unique. We're also amazing. But we've been taught to, as you just shared, look on the outside for our grade card, for our assurance that we're a good person, or that we're lovable, which is one of the saddest things in the world right now, because so many of us don't feel loved or lovable because all of the judgments that we have on ourselves. So what was the impetus then for you to write the book?
Well, I want to share this with the world. Like, I'm very passionate about the things that I learned about love, and I know that it's a world changer. I know that it changed my life. It rocked my world. It took what I knew about love and kind of threw it out the window for the most part. And so to really love the right way, if we all did that, man, I'm telling you, Vince, Democrats and Republicans could sit together at Thanksgiving and the food could stay on the table and not on each other and not on the walls. Like, if you really stop and listen and truly love the people that you're with, really love. But if you really listen, you find out we've got a whole lot more in common than we think we do. And if somebody believes different than you, let them. Who cares? The world would be a boring place if we all had the same opinion. There's like some truth in everything, right? And we can learn from each other. Like, it's amazing when you just have a conversation instead of a confrontation. how much you can learn.
And the answers are there. It's just allowing ourselves to be in that place to let the answers show themselves. So I know that you also have a Love is Challenge, right?
I do. Yes, it's free on my website. It's a 14-day love challenge. And if you sign up for it, I will send you a free WWLD, What Would Love Do wristband. And it's kind of a synopsis of each of the 14 is's and isn't of love. And so it gives you an idea of what love really is.
Kim, I know we're all different. Yeah. So this question is going to be a little tough for you, because we all have our own places that we've had experiences or beliefs around certain things. But of the 14 steps of what love is or what love isn't, what seems to be the toughest for us to grasp and hold on to the concept?
I think one of the toughest ones is love doesn't keep a record of wrongs. That was a tough one for me. I went into it thinking, how does this work? Because you hear forgive and forget, but you don't forget. You might forgive, you might come to the place of forgiveness, but you don't forget the things that happened to you. And so how does love not keep a record of wrongs? Like it's so easy to hold a grudge, right? Or be bitter towards somebody or cut somebody out of your life because they did you wrong, right? And then you remember those wrongs and you keep record, you keep a tally, and you don't want to go back and get hurt again, which is true. I mean, there are people in your life, you don't have to hang out with them, but you can still love them, which is an interesting concept, but very true. But love doesn't keep record of wrongs would say that, of course, you remember everything that happened to you. Of course you remember, but the narrative changes, the tone of the story changes. And instead of, oh my gosh, my cousin that hurt me so bad and is such a rotten person, it's like, you know what? I went through this thing. What can I learn from it? I learned maybe my mouth got me in a little bit of trouble too, whatever. And so instead of just this horrible thing that happened to me, it's okay, well, it's just this thing that happened and I grew from it. I learned from it. And so then the bitterness goes away, because bitterness, we all know, only hurts us anyway. But the bitterness goes away because then it's just a story instead of this horrible time that somebody did us wrong.
Physiologically, we are set up to store everything. And that's not going to go away. I mean, that's how our brains were formed, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to take every little episode and put it in the file cabinet. And I love what you say. At Imagine Miracles, we talk about finding the gift in the circumstances. It's exactly what you just shared. But when you find the gift, now you change the meaning of the past circumstance. And it's no longer, this is what this person did to me. Once you find the gift, it can be, this is what that person did for me. And it really opens up to a different future for sure, but that changed your past. It can change your past just like that in finding the gift and making that understanding. So what would you like to see happen? Let's just start small. Let's start in our country. What would you like to see happen in our country when it comes to understanding and actually loving?
I would love to see people gain an understanding of love and figure out how to live it. And, even if it just starts with love that is patient, it starts with one thing that you can change in your life. It'll change your world. It'll change your life. Just even one of the 14. If we were just to love each other with real love, I think so often we use the word love. I love black licorice. I really do. I love black licorice, but it's not the same. Relationships are what life is all about. And relationships are the only thing that life is about. And so that kind of love, the love that we have for each other and for strangers, for people that we don't even know, it's not just a love between husband and wife, or husband and husband, wife and wife, partner, whoever it happens to be, but it's a love for everyone. And if everyone could just figure that out and love each other, the world would be a lot happier place, and we would all be happier people.
I might have stolen your thunder here a little bit. We're getting close to the end of our time together. Is there a parting piece of guidance beyond that you would like to share?
Well, I would say that I did your homework for you. So it took me quite a bit. The things that I went through in Haiti were crazy. I was chased by a motorcycle gang. I got lost on a mile-high mountain with a medical student in the dark. I tell the stories of the things that led me to love, to the true meaning of love. And I guess I'm a little hard-headed and kind of needed to be hit over the head with some of them because they weren't all easy. And I think that's one thing, is that love is both very, very simple, but you have to do the work at the same time. So it kind of runs both ends. And the work is worth it. The work is worth it. You don't have to throw in the towel on anyone. There might not be someone you hang out with every day, but they're still valuable. Everybody is. Everybody has great value. And we need to recognize that so that we don't have anything against anyone. Just love people. Just love. Give yourself the permission to just love people. Don't fix them, love them.
As you say, so easy yet so hard. And it's nice to have the steps in front of you and to read a book like Love Is and understand the experiences that Kim has had and wants to share with you. And you learn and it motivates, but there's still the work that you have to do inside of you, because it truly is, as Kim shared earlier, loving all parts of yourself so you can love everyone else, because they're going to show you the parts of you that you don't necessarily love until you find that in yourself. Kim, thank you so much for sharing that with us today and who you are. And it's obvious that your heart is open to the world, and that's what we need right now. More people to feel free to tear down the wall, tear down the blocks, let your light shine out and share. I know you shared a little bit about how people can get the Love Challenge, but how else could they get in touch with you and learn more about you?
Well, I am literally the only Kim Sorrelle in the world spelled the way my name is spelled, because it has way too many letters, 2 R's, 2 E's, 2 L's. So it's Sorrelle. So I'm very easy to find. So I'm on all the social platforms. My website is loveis.com. My book is readily available everywhere. Like I said, I did the homework for you. Hopefully it's an enjoyable read. It's I think it's funny and heartwarming at the same time, and hopefully life-changing. I've gotten lots of great feedback, couples that have stayed together after reading the book, families that have mended things, friendships that have mended, families that are doing it together to strengthen their bond and strengthen the relationships. And so it's love is a journey. Love is a lifelong journey. And so you might as well get on the bandwagon and enjoy the ride.
I'll make sure all that information is available on Kim's show page. Just go to themiracleyou.com. All that information will be available. Love is the highest vibration there is. As I was doing research around Kim and her work, God is love. The universe is love. That's the highest vibration. And that's what we're here to do, is experience and even expand the higher vibrations of this universe. And as each and every one of us find ourselves, learn about the wonderful things that we are, and that each and every part of us is important in living our divine intent, the reason that we're here on this earth, we can start to love in a way And I'm going to share Imagine Miracle's definition of miracle. Through an act of love, sharing your gifts and talents in a way that others can share theirs. That's what love is all about. That's why we're here. And I want to thank you, Kim, for sharing about love and sharing your heart today.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Vince.
It was such a pleasure. On behalf of my wife, Mary, who's also my business partner, the entire team here at Imagine Miracles, we want to wish each and every one of you a miracle day.
You've completed this episode of The Miracle You, but we have plenty more to help you discover your own personal passion and purpose. Head over to themiracleyou.com for free resources to assist you on your journey, as well as register for our free webinar, Discover Your Miracle Life, 3 mind-awakening steps toward your unique purpose, or apply for a one-on-one Your Life, Your Way breakthrough session and discover your next best step on your journey. All available exclusively on our website. That's themiracleyou.com. We look forward to sharing more experiences of passion, purpose, and life by design next time, right here on The Miracle You.